language. Because surprise, they don't speak English in Thailand. They speak a little bit, but they speak Thai. And so I thought, it's not fair that we are the only ones that learn Thai. We thought maybe this morning we could teach a little Thai to everyone here this morning. So don't worry, we're going to start out simple. Now, if you're passing someone on the street, they could be a Buddhist, they could be a Christian, they could be a stranger, they could be a friend. What you're going to do, before I go forward, there's something you need to know about the Thai language. To be polite, if you're a man, you finish your sentence with the word kap. Okay, so if you're a man here today, let's practice that. We say kap, kap.
And if you're a lady, you end your sentences with ka.
Okay, we've got that down. Now, if you want to say hello, you say sawadi. Sawadi. So if you're a man, you say sawadi kap.
And if you're a lady, you say swadee ka.
All right. Now let's practice all together here on 3. 1, 2, 3. Sawadi kap. Okay. Now, you guys don't realize this, but you actually just learned 2 words. Or 2 phrases, because that's both hello and goodbye in Thailand. So you guys are doing great this morning. Now, another phrase that we want to learn is if you're a Christian and you want to say God bless you, not when you sneeze, because they don't do that. But if you're at church and you're getting ready to leave and you're parting ways and you want to say goodbye, but you want to say God bless you, you say, okay, I'm going to break it down here and we'll say it piece by piece. Ka.พระเจ้า Oi pan. Okay, then don't forget your ending. Okay. Okay, one more time. Here we go. Ka. พระเจ้า Oi pan. Kap. Okay, here we go. ขอพระเจ้า Oi pan kap.
ขอพระเจ้าอวยพรค่ะ
Oh, you guys are perfect. We'll be sending the sign-up sheet. You guys can come visit us. You guys are ready to start sharing the gospel in Thailand. So we'll talk a little bit more about language learning and some of the challenges and obstacles that we've had to face with that as well. But I also want to talk about briefly, and I do promise Rachel will get a chance to talk here. She'll talk a lot. But I wanted to also say the second point of the culture that we want to try to understand better is their worldview. And they're being 85% Buddhist, they have a very different worldview than we might have here in the West, especially from a Christian point of view. Now, I've heard some people say, oh, I've kind of heard about Buddhism, and it sounds like there's a lot of things that maybe are similar to Christianity. Maybe some of the way, the outreach to the poor and the peace and things like that. And I think from a surface level, there can be some simple things that seem similar. But the main focus on Buddhism is suffering. So where we might see sin as the human condition, the problem that all humans face is this struggle with sin and what that leads to. Buddhists look at the world and they say suffering. Suffering is the common thread that all humanity has in common is suffering, dealing with suffering. So we could say, okay, we can see a little bit of commonality there. But then what they say is, well, suffering comes from desires. So any desire is going to bring suffering. And we think, okay, we can look at the negative desires that maybe we have that lead to poor choices in life and sin that really impacts our life. We can look at that. But they include in those desires also love, things like love or positive desires, positive feelings. Because let's say you love someone, you have that relationship. Well, that person eventually will pass away. Maybe that person will hurt you. And in the end, it will lead to suffering. So the Buddhist goal is to remove all desires in your life. And that's not looked towards some higher deity. That's not looked towards something from the outside. But they believe that's all done from yourself internally. And so when comparing Christianity and Buddhism, I found this quote here on the OMF website. And it says, the Creator God does not exist in Buddhist thought. Karma, not grace, impacts the choices one makes. Salvation is only attained through self-merit, and hope is found in death and not life. And so, as I've learned more about Buddhism and hear more and more about what the typical Thai Buddhist, what their mindset is that really I have this sense of hopelessness that they must have because their escape is not found in an eternal life, but actually found in death. But to limit Thai Buddhists to only Buddhism is probably a little too simple, because it's more complicated than that. One missionary has kind of described the worldview of the Thai Buddhist as a thin veneer going over their worldview of Buddhism. The Buddhist practices that they may see and do typically have to do with the next life. Buddhism believes in reincarnation. They believe in rebirth. And so they're trying to earn more merit to move their position in the next life. And so when we talk about Buddhism, they're not necessarily thinking about this every single day of their life. They may be going on certain holidays. They may do certain things to try to earn more merit to offset bad merit. And again, another thing about Buddhism, they don't know from their previous lives how much bad merit or bad karma has followed them. So they never know if they have yet to attain enough to move up. So when Buddhism is kind of used as the next life, things that are focused ahead, a part of their belief system that is used a little more common, this would be more practices based off of Hinduism. They will, let's say you're in university and you have a test coming up or you have a major life event happening. Well, they have various statues around the city. Some are from Hindu background, others are figures of history. This is the king who established Chiang Rai and some of the northern kingdoms in Thailand. It's found in the center of the city. And what they do is they will go to these various idols, these statues, and they will make offerings. And they will say, if I could do well on this test, if I can find that person to marry, if you can bless me with a child, then I will come and I will continue to give you offerings. And so this is downtown Chiang Rai at the major intersection, and you can see flowers, there's incense, there's all kinds of shrines all around, and it's very common to drive through this main intersection and see people making offerings all day. And their hope is that they will receive that luck or that favor from this idol, and they will then, if they do well on the test or they have a child, well, if anything goes wrong in the future, they might think, oh, well, it's going wrong because I didn't go and I didn't continue to give offerings to this statue. So that's kind of key points in their life. They'll use this mindset. But on a daily basis, day to day, what's a typical Thai Buddhist dealing with? Well, they're dealing with animism. And that animism is spirit worship. It's fear of the spiritual realm. And this is a common example of what you would find in front of nearly every house in Thailand, nearly every business in Thailand. And we refer to them as spirit houses. And what they believe is that when you move into a house or a business, or you build a house or a business, that you are disturbing the land, and those spirits that inhabit that land have to go somewhere. And you don't want them going into your house or your business, so they create these little spirit houses, and put them outside so that they may live there. And they will offer, you can see here flowers, you can see fruit. There's also, one thing I always kind of joke about is, they put red Fanta on there. And they think, they believe that turns into blood when they put it on there as an offering. And I still think that's the only reason why they sell red Fanta in Thailand, because I can't stand it, but it's very popular. It's there in all the stores. So, but actually, I do have a story about a spirit house and a story of our family and a spirit house, actually. So it took us about 3 months to find a house that we could move into when we arrived in Thailand. We lived in an apartment or a condo, hotel style facility for 6 weeks, 2 separate rooms, boys' rooms.
That was a long 6 weeks.
Yeah. And then we ended up moving in another house while we waited for the house that we were going to move into to be renovated. Well, the house had a spirit house in front of it. And I'm thinking the whole time, okay, well, how am I going to talk to the landlord? How am I going to, how's that conversation going to go? I'd gone through all these cultural classes before about, conflict and how to handle disagreements and things like that. But I wasn't really sure how this was going to work out. Well, our landlord invited us over to our house and said, come out to the house. We're doing some renovations. We'd love to have your family's input, which is actually kind of strange because usually you don't get those kind of requests from landlords in Thailand. So we went over and we were talking with her and going through the different upgrades and renovations, and we came up to the front yard where the spirit house was, and I'm standing there with her, and she speaks English. She works in Bangkok, works with UNICEF, and she says to me, before I have a chance to say anything, she says, well, I think we're just going to keep the grandparents' house, which is the spirit house. And she said, if you don't mind, just every once in a while, if you could clean it, maybe put some flowers on it, and I looked at her and I said, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to do that. And she says, oh, it's not religious, it's not Buddhist, it's just, I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to do that. And we kind of left it there, kind of awkward. And, I called my friend who had been helping us with a lot of the connections. He's a long time missionary in Chiang Rai. And he said, how'd the time go at the house? And I said, well, it's going well. We kind of had an awkward conversation about the spirit house out front. He said, okay. Well, let me call her and let me talk to her. And as we had learned in preparation before going onto the field, in Asia, a lot of the cultures are very indirect in how they handle conflict. And so my friend, as a third party, contacted the landlord, and he explained to her why we couldn't take care of the spirit house. And the next time we went to the house, it was gone. She had removed it. We had heard stories in the past about other missionaries who had come in and maybe not taken culturally, been very sensitive to the situation, and usually there's a fee to remove such a thing, and they usually tell them, okay, you want it gone, you pay for it. But we were never asked to pay for anything, so we feel like that situation resolved itself well. And later I asked the missionary friend of mine, I said, what did you say to her? And he said, they can't take care of this spirit house because they believe in a God, a spirit who's above all of this, and they don't need the spirit house to protect them. And he said, you don't want that spirit house sitting there and nobody taking care of it, and So he said it's better if you just remove it. So that was a cultural experience that we had with the spirit house that we feel ended up well, and the relationship with our landlord is still very strong.
And some of the other opportunities that we've had for some outreach is the lady in front there in the striped shirt. That is our language teacher. We started with class with her almost 2.5 years ago now, and we've been really consistent. She's been a part of our lives for the last 2 years. And so what we do for some outreach and for some fun is we actually invited her over to our house. So this is a picture of our dining room. As you can see, it's outside, which works out pretty well when it's not raining. And then the two other ladies there are our teammates from Hong Kong. And we just have fun. We build that relationship with her, and we consider her a friend. But we really wanted to show you a face of someone that is near and dear to us. So as you're praying for us, we also want you to be praying for her. We've been able to share the gospel a little bit with her over these last 2 years. And she's also friends with our teammates from Hong Kong, and just us coming together as a team around her, building that friendship.
She's in our prayers a lot, and she's really kind of, it really brings life to the scripture where it talks about how heaven rejoices when someone accepts Christ. And we're longing for that day. And if God is so gracious to open her heart and her ears to hear and she accepts, it will be an absolutely wonderful day. So please help us in praying for not only Kru Bai Tong, our teacher, but also everyone else that we're interacting with and the people of Thailand.
And so this is a picture of us in class. This is what we have done primarily for the last 2.5 years for our first term. We were in Thailand under student visas. So we really wanted to get a good grasp of the Thai language. We're still working on that one. But so we would come in and we would study with Kru Bai Tong 2 days a week. And this, as you can see, our Hong Kong teammates are in the picture as well. And that was a really great time of team building for us because we were in class together. We were learning this whole new language together. So we were all kind of on the same page. The other two ladies you see in the picture are also missionaries. They're serving there in Chiang Rai. At that time, there wasn't as many language school options. So this school got a lot of missionaries enrolling there. It is a Thai-ran school, so the owners and most of the teachers are Buddhist. But with us coming in as missionaries, it is a wonderful outreach opportunity for us as well, since we do spend so much time in the classroom. Another way that we have continued to work on our language is through a private tutor. So the days that we were not in a formal class setting, Brian and I did tutoring, which was more one-on-one. This is Kru Jo, and Kru means teacher. And she is actually a pastor's wife there in Chiang Rai. So she's been able to really explain more of the culture of Christianity there in Thailand, and coming from a Buddhist background. She grew up in a Buddhist family. So she's been able to help us make those connections, what that transition is like.
Okay, how many people remember how to say, God bless you?
It's quiz time.
In Thai. Anybody?
Besides the Glunt.
Besides Lily.
It's still in the audience.
Okay. So it's Khaw Prajao Oipon. Now, that might look a little strange, and if you actually know phonetics, I'm sorry, because this is probably not a good representation of phonetics. But this is just to give you an idea as we're learning Thai, kind of what's that process look like. So to learn a phrase as simple as God bless you, we first would spend time with the phonetic writing of that phrase. And this might look something like this. It's got some symbols in it that you have to learn, but basically every symbol has a specific sound that you make. And then you could see on the jiao, there's a little arrow going up. That's telling you, that's how your tone should go when you say that. It goes up and down. Jiao. So this is how we learned Thai for like the first 6 months while we were there. After that, we had to learn the Thai alphabet. And we know it enough that we can read, but we're still not perfect with it yet. But we know enough.
That there's 44 consonants and 24 vowels in the Thai language.
Oh, but don't worry. Of those 44 consonants, there are several that make the exact same sound. So it's so we would then, after we learned the alphabet, we would learn like this: Ka Prajao Oi Pan. And then after we kind of would learn that, then you would read it like this, because in the Thai language, when they're writing, there's no spaces, there's no punctuation. So you have to kind of know where a word ends and where the next one starts, and several rules such as that.
Yes.
So.
Oh, and there's also 5 tones.
Oh, yeah. So I guess we can talk about tones as well. If it wasn't difficult enough trying to learn a new script like this, they also have 5 tones, which English doesn't have any tones. So for us growing up, tones were never taught or even thought of, but for the Thai people, they're as common as, making sure you spell the word right, or you're using the right vowel. So just as an example, I'm going to say a word that basically, with the English ear, in my English ear at least, sounds pretty much the same. Okay, so I'm going to say the word. It's ma. Okay, ma. See, I said it wrong there. Okay, ma, 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 ma. Okay, 5 tones. Say, all pretty much sounds the same. 2 of those are gibberish. Don't mean anything. Okay, the first one I said was ma, ma. It's flat. Sorry. I got a cold, so it's hard to control. With a flat tone, that means to come. So if you were to tell somebody to come here, you'd say ma, ma, ma. Okay. But if you say ma, you've said dog. Okay? And if you say ma, you've said horse. So if you want to talk about how you rode a horse last weekend, you want to be careful what you say, because you might have tell the people that you rode a dog this weekend. So that's definitely some of the challenges we have, and we were even up to the last class before we headed back here to North America. I was still being corrected by my Thai teacher about using the right tone. So it's a slow process, but it's a process that we're making headway in, and God's very kind, and the Thai people very patient. So.
All right, so right now, this weekend is actually a really big holiday in Thailand. It is the Thai New Year. So we actually celebrate 3 New Years there in Southeast Asia. You've got your typical traditional January 1st New Year's. We also celebrate Chinese New Year, which changes dates a little bit based on the moon cycle and all that. But then for the Thai New Year is Songkran. And so that's what's going on right now in Thailand. And what it is this, it's a way of blessing and honoring the older generation and the younger generations through water. So they believe that you can earn merit and kind of cleanse yourself through this water ritual. And there's some really, really wonderful things with that. Some really God-honoring things. We have baptism, and it's not necessarily the same thing, but it's things that we can find commonality with, and we can honor that through our church. So our church participates in a little bit of a ceremony with that. Up on the top is the traditional Thai clothing, and there's parades and dancing with that. And then at the bottom one is actually the kids' school. So they will come through, the older members of the staff will sit, and the younger members of staff and the students will come through in a line, and the older generation will pour water over their hands and then say a prayer over that person. And so that's how we as Christians use this water ritual to honor God.
Yeah, and I think it's important, too, that as we look at different cultures, even our own culture, we realize that many of the traditions and things that make us who we are, many things honor God, no matter which culture you come from. But then there's also things in our culture that don't honor God. And so taking this type of tradition, this holiday, this celebration that they have, we take out the things that honor God. We say, the honoring your elders or honoring the generation below you, praying over those who you love and care for. And so, like Rachel said, we can see that reflected in both the church that we attend and also the school that the kids go to. And you can see also it's a time to break out your Hawaiian shirt and flower shirt. Everybody wears bright colors during the long weekend.
So what we choose to do, the very top picture there is from the kids' school. At the last period of the day before they dismiss for their spring break, they have a big old water fight. And that is that's a common thing. The entire country has a big water fight during Songkran. It is, this year they've said the holiday is 5 days, so it's a 5-day water fight. So this is one of the ways that the kids get to participate in this at their school. It's on campus, it's in a fairly controlled environment, but it's lots of fun. The teachers participate as well, as you can see. And then the other pictures are us as a family, and that is in our front yard. And we are just goofing around, having fun, and kind of enjoying that time because it's the beginning of hot season, so it feels really good when you get splashed with water.
It actually is. One reason why we're playing at the school and also our front yard is because it can be quite dangerous out and about. I mean, along with the water fight, there's lots of drinking. Car fatalities, drunk driving fatalities skyrocket in the country during that time. So we try to limit our time going out into the big public areas because, like I was saying, there are many things that are God-honoring in cultures, but there are also things that don't honor God. So trying to determine or identify those things in the culture is pretty important.
So we have the wonderful opportunity to send our children to an international Christian school there in Chiang Rai. And this is just a small glimpse of what their day looks like. The picture of Lucy there is actually part of their Founders Day festivities. It coincides most of the time with the U.S. Thanksgiving. So there's a big Thanksgiving meal, and then they have fun carnival activities for the kids to do. The middle picture was just the first day of school. There's Curtis with his teacher this school year. They do fun things like Twins Day, and Curtis asked his teacher if she would be his twin. They both happen to love Dr. Seuss, so that's how they did their twin day. Lily has the opportunity to participate in choir, so that's her there doing a performance at the school. And then for Curtis, his whole class comes around on birthdays, and that whoever birthday it is the student of the day, and the whole class comes up and writes everything that they enjoy or love about that person on the board, and their teacher takes a picture of that and sends it home with them.
So we do want to say thank you very much because it's through your support that we're able to send our children to such a wonderful Christian school. And I know a lot of missionaries have tough decisions on whether to send kids to boarding schools or maybe the extra work of homeschooling. But with this school available so close to our home, we're so grateful that we're able to send our children there. And also at the school, it's not all Christians that go there. 80% of the kids that go there are missionary families, but 20% are local Thai families, which are typically Buddhists that come in. So even our children have an opportunity to witness during their school day. We also have been blessed with several friendships in Thailand as well. The picture on the left is just a Thai family in our church that we're good friends with. Right after Rachel had Maddie, they said, "Hey, let's take your kids. We want to take your kids for an afternoon. Take them out to the local petting zoo." And so, we've got a lot of Thai friends that are able to come alongside us and help us even when we're in need of a break or something like that. And then on the right, this is actually a Korean family. They're Korean missionaries.
You're right.
Yeah. They're Korean missionaries. And what's really interesting about this, they're probably our best family friends. Like, we love getting together and doing things together. But what's really interesting is the husband and the wife don't speak much English. And so when we get together, we speak Thai. And so that not only good for a relationship, but helps us with practicing our Thai. They've been here 5 or 6 years, and so their Thai is much stronger, and so we love hanging out with them as well. This is the church that we attend. They were so kind to name their church an English name. It's Joyful Church. It is an all-Thai church. Our family and then another family there, about half of that family, are the only foreigners that are there. But we have a great opportunity to practice our Thai, witness how the church in Thailand does a typical service, how they do outreach. The gentleman standing way at the top up there, that's Pastor Addison, and he's been a great mentor to me also these past few years. So just again, so thankful of the people that God puts into our lives. About 6 months into attending the church, we asked Pastor Addison, we said, how can we help a little bit more? How can we be more involved? And he asked me if I wouldn't mind being available to give the message every once in a while. And I've had the honor of getting up and giving the message. I'm not quite to the point where I can give a full message in Thai. So I asked my friend Trai, who's a doctor. Him and his wife are actually working with the University of Oxford doing research. It's been a great blessing to us, helping us kind of get past those barriers that we still have with our language.
And then I got plugged in working with the kids. So I will do a short lesson during the message time each Sunday. And as you can see from the pictures, I never quite know how many kids I'm going to have. I either have a room full or I pretty much have my own children. But it's a wonderful way for me to connect with the younger members of our church and share with them more of the gospel in a fun way that they can engage in.
When we initially went to Thailand, we thought we were going to spend 1 year in language. During that 1 year, the community center that we were wanting to work in would be built, and we would have a year and a half of activities in a new community center. This didn't happen. We ran into several delays, both with the building and both with organizational, with how we can obtain the correct visas to work. But as a team, we decided to go ahead and push on and start to reach out to the community. So this is a picture of Rachel and I, our family, doing an English class with the local neighborhood kids that are around the future spot of the community center. So we've been working with them for over this year and a half, getting to know them, getting to know their families. Also, our other teammates have been doing an art class with the kids in the community. So, we're so anxious for the opening of the community center because now we've started to build those relationships. We employ Lily to come as well. She helps keep the kids in line. And they love Lily. And because of these relationships, we've had the opportunity to invite the community to come and celebrate with us. So this past Christmas, we asked them to come over to our teammates' house, and we had a big party for them. And the kids sang a song in English and Thai. We had treats. They decorated cupcakes. And then I was able to share with them what is Christmas, because they see Christmas. They're curious. They want to celebrate. In the malls and some public areas, there are Christmas trees. There are Santa Claus, Christmas music. And so they're exposed to it. But, we wanted to share with them, what is Christmas? And so you can't share Christmas without sharing who Jesus is, and you can't share who Jesus is without sharing the gospel. So this presented a great opportunity to share the gospel with really a lot of the moms and aunts and grandmas of the kids that we've been working with for the past year and a half. And we don't want to take all the credit for all the work we've been doing because it does take a team. And God has blessed us with people from all around the world to come and work alongside us. So on the left is Milton and Erica. Yeah, it's the left. Yeah, it's good. We're good. Okay, is Milton and Erica, and they're from the UB conference in Honduras. And they're the first missionaries to be sent overseas from that conference. And so we're very honored to have the opportunity to work alongside them as well. And then to the right of our family, that is Paula. And Paula comes from China, from the Beijing area. And she got connected through Frank Yang with UB Global. And she has been a great help on our team as well. Her passion is with the college-age students. And since we were kind of looking at how are we going to continue our visas when we're kind of unsure how we were going to stay in the country, she decided to enroll again as a college student at a local university that's English taught. And so she's actually a freshman at one of the local universities in Chiang Rai, and she's reaching out to the college-age students with English classes and Chinese classes and having a great opportunity to witness on those campuses. And then to the far right is Hannah. Hannah has joined our team at the beginning of this past school year. She has come to be a teacher at the kids' school, Chiang Rai International Christian School, and she goes through UB Global as well, and therefore is on our team as well. And she doesn't necessarily have to help with our community center outreach, but she has been very eager to help, and we're very thankful that she has come alongside us to help with teaching English and other things like that.
Yeah, especially since I was pregnant and had Maddie. She's really kind of stepped in. Her and Lily have stepped into my role during that time and have really helped Brian out with leading those English classes.
And this picture was sent to me earlier this month, but this is the current status of the community center. It's a 3-story building. It's going to have several rooms for us to lead classes. And our hopes right now, what we can offer the community are English classes, art classes, music classes in the future. But we're not going to just go into the community and tell them what we're going to offer. We're making efforts to ask the community. We're going to survey the community. What can we bring to the community to help you? And so through meeting those needs, we hope to have more opportunities to share the gospel. And we hope that there'll be opportunities for discipleship as well as church planting in the near future. So thank you.
We are very excited to have the Glunts with us and to have heard about the story and what they're doing. So that's the community center that we own. They said there's been delays and stuff, so pray about that. And not the building so much, but the work of the gospel going out through that building and all the activities to build bridges into people's lives. Amen?